Welcome to the 1878 FM podcast. We are bushless today. He's.
Well, we've all gone Brazilian.
We have gone Brazilian. I particularly am Brazilian. We talked about the Manscaped stuff last week, and he's not here this week. So there you go. What can you say?
Do you think we need to start imposing sanctions?
It's looking that way. It's looking.
You know, I'm getting a bit concerned about his commitment levels. To be honest with you, I think it's
job.
fine. Well, yeah. I mean, he does. He blames it on his job, and maybe just maybe he's the only one out of the four of us that does have a viable other job. But I don't think that he should use that to just not show up. And last night I was in our little Tesco's getting some tea, and then suddenly he's just like a message saying, "Oh, I can't be there." Like thinking, well, we're all here.
You could have told us.
He's put it in the group.
Only this morning.
Oh, he did tell this morning. Yeah.
Oh yeah, wasn't it this morning?
No,
Wasn't it
this
last
morning.
night? Was it this
It
morning?
wasn't. He couldn't even do us the service of telling us last night.
I don't feel like it's like because he's doing better than us. I think we've transcended real jobs. We don't need the man.
Yeah.
We haven't got the
He's
commercial
got the
overlords.
commercial overlord, hasn't he?
He's got the commercial overlords. We haven't. We've got.
We're flying free.
We are,
aren't we? Freewheeling, and he's stuck in his lane.
How many is it now? This has got to be 4 or 5, I think, isn't it? Out of 13.
He's
very
definitely
much the Dominic Calvert-Lewin
I was
of the
going to say,
podcast.
is he the Dominic Calvert-Lewin of
I know.
the podcast?
And as I said to you before, I'm very much the James Tarkowski, and so far and ever present.
Yeah.
Got good hair like Tarkowski as well.
Thank you.
And Bush could be sponsored by Braun as well, couldn't he? It all works.
It all works
It
together.
all works together.
Synergy. There you go.
That would be commercial overload.
Well, yeah, true. Dave, how are you finding life without Everton?
I'm really enjoying it. Genuinely, I'm really, really enjoying it. I mean, I could have waited longer to answer your question, but no, I mean, it's just the world seems to be in a better place. I mean, despite the fact that we're living through this bizarre World Cup, which I can't really get my head around, and it still angers me. I mean, it still really, really angers me, the fact that it's even happening. I mean, it shouldn't be happening at all, full stop. And the fact that it is, I find irritating. But the fact that we don't have any disappointing results to try and dissect on a Tuesday at this moment in time is only a good thing, I think.
Yeah. I mean, listen, England are going to get through tonight, and we'll call this on the Tuesday. There was no point waiting until tomorrow. Wales have to beat them 4-0. That's not happening. That's just not happening. So, I mean, if it does happen, I'm going to sound really stupid. But
I can't see it happening.
I can't
it's
see it
unlikely,
happening.
isn't it? Let's say
it's being a weird World Cup, isn't it? Because it's like we've watched like basically every game, and but it just feels so. I don't know. It just you don't see. I don't know if I've said this before, but you're not really seeing any of the outside life. It's just what happens in that stadium.
Just in the stadium,
and and if you live in China, you're only seeing what's happening on the pitch. You're not even seeing what's happening in the stands because they don't want to alienate anyone. But it just doesn't. We don't. I'm not saying it's a bad World Cup, but I'm not feeling the whole
It's not like it's normally
you're
like
not feeling the culture of
thing,
Daddy OG would have a terrible time trying to write a song about this World Cup.
Yeah.
He'd have a terrible time.
Wouldn't he?
He'd be struggling.
Yeah.
You just don't get a feel for it.
And the other day I was watching it, and the way normally when you've got a World Cup, and there's always a certain affection, maybe is too strong a word, but a slight fondness for the host nation in terms of the fact that you think, well, do you know what? They've put on this wonderful festival of football and they're such lovely people and they've made everybody from around the world feel so welcome and included. And for that reason, we actually really want to see you do well, almost to the point where you might be our second team. After our own nation, we'd really like to see you do well. Not this one, right?
No.
Because everyone's sitting there thinking, I can't wait for Qatar to go no further than the group stage.
And I'll tell you what's weird about that as well, because you can't sit here going, well, it's probably on the ground, it's probably terrible. I imagine the people there are nice, and I imagine the people are trying. But the people who are running the World Cup don't want to let us see that either. They don't really want to let us see anything. That's the real weird thing. Like, you'd think there'd be a real propaganda push to show us all the good things that are going on in Qatar. And maybe what it is just that our TV channels have just gone. Nah, we're not getting involved in that. We're not playing that game. Both TV channels have sort of said from day one, haven't they? We're not really going to show you anything. So maybe it's just that. I don't know. I know
they referenced the fella running on with the rainbow flag yesterday and the Superman thing and all. They actually referenced that and showed an image of them, our TV companies. Now, what they try to do normally, if there's any like streaker or anything like that, they don't reference it, do they? Or they don't show him. And they were like, this fella got on and he was doing this and he was doing that. And that's
the last time we're ever going to see him. That's why.
Do you know? do you know what I thought was weird about this? And I hope that this doesn't come across in the wrong way. But I think, fair play. The fact that he has made his statement, and I think we can all back, the feelings behind that. But I felt as if he had one opportunity, and therefore he had to go quite broad with his message. He's right, because there was no real focus there, was there? I don't mean this to be a criticism, but he was going for Ukraine rather, not Ukraine, Ukraine and Iranian women at the same time. And I thought, well, he's got his opportunity. I mean, he could have gone on with a no more oil thing on there as well, and like really.
He was he like a Formula 1?
I was going to say he's the Formula 1 driver of protesters,
wasn't he?
Formula 1.
Just got a lot of stuff on him.
But he had one up and he took it.
Superman. Was he protesting against Superman?
I don't know. He was protesting for Superman.
Or maybe for Superman. But at least
he had one chance and he took it.
He's just gone and gone, while you're there, I don't like that either. And I don't like that. But fair play to him for actually, managing to get into the stadium with that kind of stuff. So...
Let's hope he gets out of the stadium.
That's the one.
I mean, that's the main. Getting in is one thing, but getting out, I think, is another thing. Do you know one other thing that I haven't mentioned on here, which I think I have a theory on, and it's the banning of the rainbow armbands, right? By FIFA.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to upset the Qataris, and they're broad-minded thinking in terms of the world, and I feel disappointed that large nations such as England and Germany and Spain and whatnot haven't decided just to go ahead with it and have actually bowed down to FIFA's threat of sanctions, which quite frankly is ludicrous. Surely, if the likes of England, Germany, France, Spain, I mean, a whole load of big nations all got together and said, do you know what? With the greatest respect, bollocks to that, right? We're going to do it anyway. And actually, if they start to impose sanctions, then so be it. What are they going to do? Are they going to kick them all out? Are they going? Because they won't have a World Cup. And what that will do is that will make FIFA's stance on this so ridiculous and absurd. And surely it will overturn it. And I just wish that somebody actually had the balls to do it. Even if it was a collective thing.
Should have all done it. USA and all. You're talking about big nations in the world, let alone world football. Big nations in the world. Should have all just gone, we're wearing them. What are you going to do? You're not going to kick us all out, are you? Otherwise we'll just go.
Yeah, and we're all bound down to that, FIFA tosspot Infantino. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I'm watching I've just started the FIFA, the FIFA documentary on Netflix, and I've watched the first episode, and within the first episode you see what an embarrassment it is, what FIFA is, what it's all about, what it stands for, and how it's just all the stuff with Adidas and everything. It
stands for money, doesn't it?
That's all it stands for. Stands for money. All it stands for. Individual, making sure you get your cut of it.
Is there a more odious organisation in the entire world than them? And I'm not sure there is.
Considering aren't they a non-profit?
Well, supposed to be.
Supposed to be non-profit.
I think the overarching thing of FIFA is non-profit. Everyone who works for it is very much about profit in their own bank, aren't they?
I mean, I think they're less likable than ISIS.
I mean
that's
we don't get to know ISIS though, do we? That's the difference. We get to know FIFA. So it's
ISIS very much just get on with what they're doing, don't they?
Stay on the periphery.
They just stay out the way.
They don't hold world tournaments, do they? So,
but FIFA are very much in your face. FIFA are very much a gold thong on a beach when you shouldn't really be wearing it, but they're doing it and strutting around with everything hanging out.
As I said before,
and they don't care.
I don't understand why they've brought so much attention on themselves. Why don't you just
You
like...
said it straight away. Why are you even highlighting this? Just keep your head down, say nothing. And the Qataris have done the same. They're, moving people on from street corners who were just literally reporting on a World Cup.
But that Infantino, not only did they try and sort of almost brush it under the carpet, he then came out and actually attacked all of the European nations for being hypocritical.
It's so bizarre. Football, though, I'll be honest, I'm quite enjoying it. Just to back your thing up, Dave. I'm not missing Everton in the slightest. People have asked me a few times, are you missing going? I was like, are you joking? Am I missing going to the match? Are you messing? It's absolutely lovely.
It is heaven.
It's love, and it's in a way. I've been talking to one of our mates about this morning, and in a way, it is a really, really sad
indictment of where we are,
isn't it? It is that we're all here delighted that Everton aren't playing games of football at the moment, and we're not. Normally you're going, wish we had a game this weekend. I'm just like, you know what? I hope there's 18 foot of snow in Boxing Day, and there's no footy for another 4 weeks after it.
A couple of days ago, it was eight years since Wolfsburg, which is a trip I went on, and flew over to Amsterdam, got the train from Amsterdam
to Hanover. They were a good side, by the way.
To Hanover, we had a great 3 days. We beat them 2-0.
Kevin De Bruyne.
And you know what? You're not asking for much. You're just asking for little days days out like that, or a few days out like that. With all the
we're not talking about Champions League finals, are we? Or winning back-to-back
little
Premier
days
Leagues.
out. People certainly in the last couple, maybe 20 years, have been to like the likes of that, the likes of Nuremberg. Even like we went to Benfica, got beat 5-0, had a great day. No one's asking for anything like massive. We're just asking for a few days out where we all have a little laugh and are looking forward to every game. And what this has highlighted is how that's the thing, isn't it? It's like you can sort of get on with having a bad team at some points, but when you've got happily no interest in football, happily no interest in Everton, it's such a sad state of affairs.
What this has made me realise is I do actually like the game of football. When Everton are on, it's stressful, and and what it's done to me. And it probably says more about me, but what it's done to me is it's made me like resentful of all the other football. So I look at other games and I just start getting angry watching them if a team's winning. I'm just like, I can't watch. And I used to watch everything. I used to watch, honest to God, any game of football. I would switch on and watch it and analyse it and go, look at them do. And just because where we are has put these last. And this is why, while everything else is going on with this World Cup, and I think what you were kind of saying before, Dave, or what you were saying, Ped, was it's almost like it feels a bit forced, this World Cup.
Yeah, definitely.
You kind of like shoehorned it in. And we're not seeing the carnival stuff that we normally get from tournaments, and it's great. We're just seeing this game of football for an hour and a half, or for 3 hours because of the injury time. But I'm enjoying the in-the-stadium stuff. I'm enjoying the game.
It's probably the greatest shoehorn of all time.
Oh, without a shadow. I mean, I can't think of better shoehorns, to be honest.
No, I can't.
And it is highlighting to me that I don't actually, because of where Everton are, they've stressed me out. But Dave, my question is it possible for us to enjoy Everton again? And what I mean by that is without Everton winning like the league or whatever. Is it possible for us to go back to going, you know what, I enjoy watching us. We're not brilliant, but I enjoy watching it. Or do you think the pressure's too much now, or it's gone too far?
Well, I mean, the simple fact is that we're only one game away from being happy again. It's as simple as that. But you know how it works. We all sit here and we moan and we kind of go, this is awful, it's the end of the world and whatever. And then, suddenly they go and beat Wolves 3-0 and everything's great again, and we're back on track. And
then 3 days 8-0.
Yeah, but,
I know what you mean.
It's just we've all said this. We've done this when, off the back of a win. Not very often, but we have, and the world's a better place. And so, unfortunately, we went into this long, extended break very much in the doldrums. and we were hoping to go in better form, and we very much haven't. And every week, weren't we? We were kind of saying how many points we needed from the remaining games before the break, and that amount of points kept going down and down and down every week. You know, we need this. Well, actually, well, do you know what that'll do? Well, actually, we'll have to do with that and whatever. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's this is my problem though with modern football management in particular, or not management, but the culture of modern football, whereby you know, you can have a manager, and I'm not necessarily saying that this is Frank Lampard. This is a sort of hypothetical manager scenario, but you can have a manager who is doing a decent job, is you know, providing an upturn in the fortunes of a particular club and a particular playing squad, you know, and then they have a few bad results, and then you know, people are calling for their head. You know, and that's just not the case, because things do flip so quickly. And I think you have to look at it on balance, you know, and I still believe that getting rid of Frank Lampard is not the right thing to do. Some people will call for his head if there's another couple of bad results. I personally don't think it's the right thing to do, because we've been down that road, as we said before. It hasn't worked chopping the manager time and time again. And the other fact of the matter is that we don't have a viable replacement, well, anywhere, you know, never mind in the wings, anywhere, full stop.
Fair dues. Where do you stand on, because obviously there's no football for Everton at the moment, where do you stand on the players being in Dubai and on holiday? Because I've seen some people fuming. To me, I'm just like, leave them.
No, I've got no problem with that. Like, no, it's not an issue. The players have got to have time off as well. You know they're going to be kicking their heels. No point in them being in training every single day. I imagine they have the best people looking after them, apparently. And they'll have come back and they'll have a plan of how to get that fitness back up to those levels of fitness.
Because they're already fit, aren't they?
Of course they are, and they stay fit and they maintain it. It's not like they go away and come back looking like Mickey Quinn. Do you know what I mean? So like, I have no problem with that. I'm just really enjoying this, because going back to what Dave was saying there, I do get your point, Dave, saying we're always one game away from happiness, but unfortunately, we're also 3 games away from sacking a manager all the time. Yeah. And I just want to get away from that feeling of perpetual shiteness. It's
a precarious existence, isn't it? And I think that's the problem, isn't it?
It can't go on like this. It can't go on.
We won 8 or 9.
We're all
2-0 wins.
But we're all on the verge of bubbling over all the time. All of us are. Like,
well, how do we solve that?
I know how to solve it. Right, I know how to solve it. I know how to solve it. You just won't let me say how you solve it.
Go on, so tell us how you solve it.
You've got to get rid of all the badness out the football club. You've got to get rid of all. You've got to start with that. You've got to do. No, hang on. You've got to do what Newcastle did, right, when their owners came in. You've got to get rid of all the issues that people always come back to when stuff like this happens. You've got to start there. You've got to cut out the rot. Been saying this for 10 years. There's no point.
I'm not disagreeing.
No, I know you're not.
What I mean,
you've got to start though.
I just mean, does that then? Do you think that then transcends onto the foot?
No, because at the moment, right, like Dave was saying, the focus is always on the manager, right?
Yeah.
Well, is it always the manager? Has the manager always been wrong in the last 5 or 6 years?
We've had a lot of managers,
right?
Haven't we? Yeah.
So for me, and this is my personal opinion, you've got to cut out the rot. You've got to cut out the issues at the club that have been hanging around like a bad smell for so long. And every time something like this happens, the fans go back to that thing. Get rid of that thing then. We're not all wrong. We're not all stupid. And if you want to take the attention off the manager and give him time, show you're having a clean sweep through the club and you want to freshen things up, and that to me is the start. And if some people mightn't like that, I know some people at Everton Football Club won't like that, but that's where you've got to start, and then maybe we can start focusing on all the other parts, because there's something, I've said this for ages, there's something very fundamentally wrong about our football club. What if this keeps on happening all the time?
The managers can't always be wrong.
No, they can't. Absolutely, they can't. We've ploughed millions and millions of pounds, and also sometimes you've got to save managers from themselves as well. So Marco Silva, for example, someone at Everton Football Club should have grabbed hold of him and said, "No, mate, you're not having Lewis Bowen-Morsay."
I think Lewis Bowen-Morsay would have been.
Lois Lane would have done better.
Right? Yeah.
You're having this experienced fella here Because
Carlos Queiroz
you've just
wanted it.
lost an experienced fella. We're taking that decision off you, whether you like it or not. This fella's coming in. And actually, this fella's a good talker as well. So he'll talk to our fans and stuff like that. We're saving you from yourself. Sometimes those decisions... But our football club... I've got no issue saying it. It's rotten to the core. Because the people at the top can't do the job.
The other thing...
Cut them out, right? And start taking the attention off Frank Lampard, who, whether you like him or you're not, the fella's trying. The fella's trying to do a job. He's trying to turn Everton round, and I believe Kevin Felwell is as well. The problem is the people above them don't know their arse from their elbow. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
And suddenly I believe things will look different.
See, the other thing that I think, and Dave will come on to you now, the other thing I think as well is...
You've made me put my shouty voice on.
I have, haven't I? Oh, didn't see that one coming. Honest. Is that as we... If I was those people, though, I think this is where they're silly, right? Because if I was those people, I'd be going, well, all right, I don't really want to lose this gig because it's all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the focus off me by bringing in someone else who's well experienced. No, but think about it, right?
No.
Someone who's experienced, someone who's worked in the game before, and start, trying to show people that we're moving forward with these this person's been at this club, that, or whatever, ran this business, that business.
Or they could just leave.
No, but I'm saying if you're, that's what ideally for Everton is, for me, is another takeover, and someone comes in and goes fresh broom now. I'm putting my own people, because I think this is what Farhad Moshiri got it wrong.
Yeah,
when he took over Everton, he should have installed his own people. I don't understand, Dave, how you take over a business and you don't put your own people in to run it.
Yeah, but
to get the best out of it.
Moshiri is not a football man, is he?
No, doesn't seem.
And he's made that blatantly clear in the time that he's been there.
Yeah.
With his general understanding of just the culture of English football. He's not a football guy. I mean, to your point, Baz, about people in the higher parts of the club, in terms of the structure, if they bring in other people, are you not then... What you're then creating, though, surely, is just more unnecessary levels of bloody management and more stuff on the payroll, because, what you're trying to do there is, for want of a, better expression, create a shit shield. Where...
But why haven't they done that, though? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's right for our football club.
But these people have got a cosy, haven't they?
Yeah, but that said, we all know what we're talking about here, but that fundamental argument does not explain really the dire form that we've seen of late from the playing squad.
No, but
I know that there are connections, and I know that there are connections with many, potentially outgoing players or should be outgoing players of late, and therefore their seeming lack of commitment, because they're not fighting their way into a squad. They're kind of fighting just to kind of stay there. I don't know, but it's a baffling question, though, and it has. I think the thing is, because it's been going on for so long.
Exactly.
That's the thing. So long. We're not talking about a situation which has existed for the last 2, 3, even 5 years. This goes back decades.
And the thing about it is, just going back to what I was saying originally about like those trips abroad and things like that. It's like David Moyes, and this is why I'm very fond of the David Moyes era. I've got no issue in saying that. To me, that took up my 20s and my part of my 30s. That time, and I mean, and most of the time we were content and we were happy. And yes, we wanted more, but it almost felt like it's got what it's gone back to, a closed shop now. And the difference was then there was 4 teams then. Now there's 6. If we'd had the financial power, we might have been able to make it a 5 and a 6, because we did finish 5th and 6th quite a lot in that time, and sometimes 7th. And we had some good teams. And I, me personally, I've said it loads of times. I think the team between 07 and 09 was as good a football I've seen since I was a kid. And personally, I think it was as good as like when Leicester won the league. I think we were that good. We just had better teams around us. That was the problem. And I think that's all I want, is that feeling of every year we're going to challenge, and every year we're going to have a go and we're going to do something. Maybe football was a lot simpler then. You didn't have all your directors of football and all that. And we're only talking 10 years ago, of course. Football's changed a lot in that time, and once again, Everton haven't changed. Very much like when the Premier League started, how they didn't change, and it took them 10 years to get to where everyone else maybe was at the start. And I mean, we've gone through managers. We're 3 games away from sacking the manager all the time. You live in this perpetual world of fume, and I know social media doesn't help that, but it feels like Baz has just said there, it feels like there has to be something that just sweeps that all away and we start again. And I do feel sorry for Frank Lampard and Kevin Felwell, because they're trying to start something new and they're trying to turn that round and are trying to get rid of all those players. And the problem is, in the last few years, is as we've tried to get rid of bad players, we've brought in bad players as well, because we've got no room to manoeuvre in the transfer market. And that's got to start changing. And I know they think that the stadium will be that sort of watershed moment for that to happen. We know that.
Yeah.
You know the focus is on the stadium, but that's still 18 months away, and that feels like a very, very long 18 months.
And there is every chance that we go into that stadium not in the top flight.
Yeah, and also
which is just, is an unfathomable thought, but is wholly possible.
But also,
and, I mean, we all thought after the end of last season, I think we all thought, now, do you know what? The new season, new start, it's never going to happen again. And we're going to make sure that we're never in that situation again. And to your point, Ped, it's never going to be looking over our shoulder. We're never going to be 3 games away from sacking the manager. We will have a bit of headroom and everything will be more comfortable. But it just hasn't, when we're nearly halfway through the season and the same old stuff is happening.
The thing about it, Dave, as well, the ticket prices have gone up this week. They've gone up by 10%, and they're going to go up another 15% next season. Let's be honest, as we move into that stadium. So you're talking probably the cheapest ticket's going to be around £700 to go into a stadium. And okay, if we're still in the Premier League, I mean, we shouldn't even be saying that, but we should be going into that stadium we should have looked at that stadium as like, we're trying to be in Europe as we go into that stadium to justify those prices. And when you hear people talking about the prices, and people can break it down and go, it's only X amount more a game. But when you're talking about people who are not putting the heating on in their houses, and then you're saying to them, by the way, this team that you really hate watching, we're going to force a 10% pay increase on you. And then when you go into this new stadium, which, let's be honest, none of us are dropping our season tickets to while there's a stadium looming over our heads, and we're going to have to pay. So that's a 25 increase of what we're paying this season. Yeah. To watch what is effectively dross, because it's dross. I don't care who, it's just dross. The football we watch every week is dross. Doesn't matter how hard they're trying to change that, it is crap. I mean, we're talking about a team that doesn't have shots on target. That's dross to me. That is absolute dross. You want a team that gets you excited. You have players that get you excited. And we're talking about, from this season, 25% going into a new stadium, and they want us to go in there and fill it every week. And of course we will, because we're stupid. But where does the point come where you go, I've had enough of this? Yeah. Because we should be going in that stadium absolutely flying. Should be peaking as we go into that stadium. But we're not. We're looking forward to bleeding Beyonce more than anything else, you know what I mean? And monster trucks. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Do you think that it's a long way off, isn't it? Do you think that Lampard will walk us into that stadium?
Not a chance on earth.
No, I don't.
I don't think Lampard sees next season. Good or bad, I don't think he sees next season.
I personally, and for so many different reasons, which we've touched on now, and a lot of it being to do with rot, systemic rot within the club, is I think that's really sad, because I was really excited about the prospect of getting Frank Lampard. I mean, granted, it was the alternative was Pereira, so I think everybody was delighted about the prospect of Lampard. But do you know what I mean? Genuinely thought that this could be a good fit. There was a real job to be done with our club, and this was a manager who has got huge potential and is young and hungry and ambitious, and it should have been a good thing. But I'm with you. I fear for it, and who knows Who on earth will walk us into that new stadium?
He may well do.
No,
I mean, I hope
He's
he
only
does.
got to
I
get
really
through this
do hope
season
he
and then.
does.
I don't
See
think that.
where we are.
When I say that, I'm not. There's a negative side to it, but
Yeah.
I also think I'm not convinced that for him, he'll think moving his family and everything up here is the right move with the way Everton is. I'm just not convinced by that. I think maybe if I don't know. I just think that
It'll take a lot for
if
him
we've
to-
tained and we buy good players in January and we actually do start playing good football and things fall into place. But if I just think if we get to the end of the season and we're still firefighting, we've survived, but we're still firefighting, and the club's still a bit of a mess, and he's got to make that decision of, do I move my family to Manchester, and his missus has to, I don't know, give up doing what she has to do, and you get to take all the kids. I think he has to make that decision. I don't want a manager who's flitting between London and live. And I mean that for himself as well. I don't want a manager who goes home to an empty house or. I want a manager
settled, don't you?
who's settled down. And if that's not him, it's not him. And I don't mean that in a bad way to Frank Lampard, by the way. I just mean that.
I just think that's an indictment of where we are, though.
No, I know,
if
that's
he,
not
if
his
he
fault.
did end up, if he ends up seeing this season out, he'll be one of our longest serving managers in the last few years, which is pathetic.
Yeah.
He'll be in here, 18 months, and we'll be going, God, he's had a good run at Everton, which is terrible, isn't it? No, but it's
true, though.
It's embarrassing. We had 3 managers in 14 years. No, sorry, 2 managers in 14 years we had. Moyes and Martinez.
Yeah.
And we'll have, and we're talking now going.
Don't talk about him.
I know, God, yeah. We won't talk about.
But
we won't talk
have you watched
about Bobby
Belgium,
Brown's.
Dave?
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I've seen bits of Belgium.
They're not great.
It is Roberto
Martinez. It's in the
Martinez.
players they've got.
It is Roberto Martinez as Belgium, isn't it?
It is. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I mean,
Let's move on. Let's move on.
This has been a miserable podcast.
It has. Let's pick it up.
Do you know, it's I mean,
For all the joys that we've got in our life of not having Everton.
I honestly thought this would be a 10-minute section of how you're enjoying not having Everton.
It's because I haven't spoke about Everton for like 2 weeks.
I know you've
So
just
I've
got it out. You've got it out.
It's been very angry, hasn't
It
it?
has.
But I think listen, the thing about this podcast though is it's real.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. And when we're talking about sex robots, then
Exactly.
we are.
They're real.
And when we're not, we're not.
Yeah, and that's it. Well, I've just seen a story here. A man in China.
Have you been desperately Googling trying to fresh material because you wanted to...
I've just been looking for something
100%,
funny because
100%.
then things
Get them off talking about Everton.
I mean, as Pedro was talking, I could see you on your phone all the way through.
Yeah, I
just
was.
thought you were sort of checking some
I was-
messages.
no,
literally, you're
be
desperately
fair,
searching for
I was
a new
looking for
angle
something
of
To be
happy.
fair, Baz does zone out when I start talking
No,
about
I
Everton.
don't. I was looking for something happy because I was thinking this is a bit
Oh, a
depressing.
man in China, what?
So this man in China has won 26 million
No, he hasn't.
on the lottery.
He hasn't.
Okay.
No,
But
but
apparently he has, right? And when he went to pick up the check,
Yeah. Was it a big rubber check?
he went like that because he didn't want his family to know that he's won 26 million.
Brilliant.
So he's gone dressed
Like an illuminous poo.
as... Is it a poo?
No,
I don't know.
it's like an illuminous poo emoji almost.
Okay.
He's gone in fancy dress.
He's gone in fancy dress to pick up the money with his mate.
I'm sure if you were if
But
this
you
was
recognise his mate.
if we were prepped for this beforehand, if you
Yeah.
hadn't just found this on your phone,
Yeah.
we could have flashed the image up on the screen.
We could have.
We'll get Ned to do that in post
Ned
production.
can
but
do it in post. I'm gonna send
maybe
it.
just send it to
I'm
Dave.
sending it to Dave right this
In real
second
time.
so he can
Go on,
see.
yeah. And
So
then
it's gone. It's gone to you, Dave. Now, if
Fine.
that's his mate, then people are gonna know his mate, aren't they?
Isn't that the guy who's just handing over the check?
Maybe. And that
I've
would be
always wondered
sensible.
about those giant checks though. How'd you cash them?
Yeah, you're taking
Because
them.
nowadays,
the
those
banks
banks, there's a little slot. You're not getting that through
crazy.
there,
The
are
banks
you?
don't want to take the banks.
They don't even take checks
take
anymore.
checks. They don't like it.
Why are you giving don't even have a normal. I mean, the only person who I know who still gives checks is me mum. Honestly, she's
like
scared of
Oh,
internet banking.
yeah, but you can scan them now, though.
You can
You don't
scan
even
them
have
into
to
your-
go-
I know you
yeah.
can, but she gave me one the other week,
Yeah.
and I scanned it, and then it came back saying it bounced because she hadn't give permission for it. It's like,
I thought you were going to say because the checkbook's from like 1987.
It probably
or something,
is.
You know, have you seen the image, Dave?
Yeah, it's strange.
It's a strange one, but I admire the fact that what he's had to do there is he's thought, I've got to go and pick this check up. Why didn't he just tick the no publicity box?
Maybe they don't have a no.
Maybe they don't have it in
I mean,
China.
it would be difficult to recognise him in real life.
Yeah, I'd say
from
so.
that outfit, I think it's fair to say. So in terms of like maintaining his anonymity,
He's done well there, hasn't he?
Done a good job there.
He has done a good
I
job.
was going to say, though, what if, like, you know, his wife just opens the cupboard and
it's
there
there.
it is, it's hanging up.
And she goes, I've seen this somewhere before. Interesting. And he's just there, you know, pulls up in the drive.
The other fella looks gutted to have to hand it over.
Fuming, the other fella.
He looks absolutely gutted.
The other fella.
You know what? The other fella probably has the same theory as me on this. Is that I think there should be a cap on all.
100%.
Wins. I mean, you know, the idea, and we haven't. You know, while we're sort of putting the world to rights and feeling angry,
go on.
Let's get this one out of the way as well. You know, when they have all these things where they have like the Euro Millions and stuff like that, and they say, oh, the Euro Million total tonight could be 142 million. I mean, that is ridiculous.
What should the cap be?
I mean, I don't know what the cap should be, but it should be something whereby why not have, you know, dozens of winners who are all getting, you know, 1 million or even 5 million.
5 million each
or
or
Christ's sake,
something,
even 10 million, you know, but cap it. You know, one person scooping 100 and something million.
Yeah. No, I
mean, Dave, let
obscene.
me just go one bigger, because recently there was one in the States, wasn't there? That was over $1 billion. There was over $1 billion. I think it was a couple of months ago. And I'm just looking at the highest ever one was 1.5 billion Powerball 2016, which 3 winners won. Which all right, fine,
$500,000
but
each.
surely
$500,000,000.
the minute it goes over
$500,000,000.
$1 billion, it should be like
it
should be like we're gonna do 10 winners.
They should do that really with the Euro
$1 billion?
Millions.
No, that's ridiculous.
I know, but the Euro
No,
Millions.
but like $1 billion is like, if you win $1 billion,
It's 1,000 million.
you've effectively almost got a chance to change the world. Like if you give that, I mean, we've seen it. You know, there's certain people out there at the moment who are splashing their wealth around trying to destroy things. But if you've literally give the power to someone to change the world,
for getting 6 numbers.
just for getting 6
whatever,
numbers.
yeah.
That's not right. That.
But wouldn't it be, like Dave said, wouldn't it be better though? If you give multiple people that money, you're spreading that wealth out. I don't know how you do it, but you should do it, you know.
But you know, but if you were one of those winners, even like as a proportion of those winners, you would have the chance of actually sorting out, you know, our front line.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Potentially,
it means Everton, not like, you know.
The UCAP's thing. Okay, that's
not in the trenches.
Yeah, Everton's won. Yeah, I mean, if you won, you know, you got
it's not that miserable.
It's not that bad.
You got 500 million.
Stick the heating on though, couldn't you?
You could put the heating on
You
for
know
the
what I mean?
winter, which would be a huge thing. I mean, where are you up to with the heating, Dave? Is it? Because it is cold here today, actually. Last couple of days.
Cold here today, by the way, and it went down a lot. It's our bin day today. You probably know that anyway.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
It's recycling today.
Okay, good.
Is
it full?
No.
You need to do a bit more than some.
Yeah, maybe a third.
Okay.
I mean, it's nothing like the lockdown recycling bin.
No,
you know, where literally you couldn't get the lid down for all the bottles and cans and stuff like that, and everybody in the street was like that. No, it's very respectable now these days. But when I went out last night to put the bins out, it was noticeably colder.
Yeah.
Now I have got the heating on twice for an hour in the morning and an hour at the end of the day, and then that's it. But my house is cold.
Right.
It's really cold, and I sit there in 2 or 3 jumpers in the evening watching telly.
Get a water bottle.
Hot water bottles, I think.
That's what I've heard. Or if even, and this is something that I've never said before, you know, I'm even thinking about looking for an electric blanket or something.
Classic.
But I don't know. Are they dangerous?
They can be.
But
it's electric.
These are like things of my childhood.
This is terrible.
Do you know what I mean?
But Dave, honestly, right, get a fleece blanket for your couch.
Yeah.
Just when you're sitting there watching telly. But a hot water bottle sorts you, mate, honestly. Because you'll take the edge off the house with the heating, won't you?
I know, but as Ped's saying it, who in their right mind thought that in the year 2022, you know, and we've known each other for a few years, and we've had all sorts of, you know, conversations about all sorts of things, not just Everton. Who would have thought that we'd be sitting here giving each other advice on how to actually make it through the winter?
It's incredible, isn't it? And you know, we're all.
While the country feels...
We're all right, aren't we? But think about, go depression, but think about like an older person just on their own. Freezing.
Should we not take this opportunity to attack the likes of BP and their whatever, their record
massive profits?
How can you be...
While the country thinks it's a good idea to leave a dickhead in the jungle who helped cause half our problems.
To be honest, right, that me and my missus was talking about this all last week because every night when the vote was on, he was still after about 2 votes. So I was like, I said he'll be there still a fan.
Who's voting
but it was a
for
PR company.
No, I know, but
a PR company for the Tories basically made sure they were constantly voting to keep him in. And I'll be honest,
I blame
the other
ITV.
night when we were watching the final, me missus gave the Al fist pump the minute he mentioned his name, that he was gone first, and it was like she was like.
But yet though, if you put on like the news or like you went on a Sky News app or anything, it was like Matt Hancock goes out third, and then and Jill Scott won it. Like that's but that's the problem though. He's got what he wants. I stopped watching it the minute he went, and I couldn't watch it. It wasn't actually the minute he went in. It was the minute people started to be nice to him. I was like, "Use it a joke." See, personally, I'd have fucked off the minute he went in. I'd have gone straight to the camera and gone, "I'm going."
Most people still did call him out when he come on. What they really should have done if they should have all gone into the thing and gone, "We're all walking."
Yeah, I'd have walked.
So. But listen,
I heard Mike Tyndall kept on. Apparently, he's come out said that he this footage of him. He kept on every time he moved. He kept on turning his t-shirt
because
around.
what he started doing near the end was putting all the stuff on show. So Mike Tyndall had just go and turn it. Yeah. And to be fair,
what the number?
This phone number, apparently he was laying it out,
like strategically putting all.
He was laying it out so you could see it on the camera. And Mike Tyndall apparently kept on turning it round so you couldn't see it.
And he did bring it up. He went, "Have you seen what he's doing?" He did think it. To be fair to Mike Tyndall,
I didn't watch it. I just couldn't watch it.
And when one bit was funny was when they had that like leader and all that, like somehow you knew that something was going on when he got voted camp leader. But anyway, Mike Tyndall became camp leader, and when people were going, because they have to give jobs, they were going, "We'll have to share that job out." Mike Tyndall went, "No, it's dead easy, Matt's doing it." So we ended up giving Matt Hancock about 5 jobs.
There was something really, and the fact that you said that there could have potentially, allegedly, maybe, possibly been some kind of, influence.
All allegedly, possibly,
some people may perhaps think, certainly not the opinion of this podcast,
not at all,
anybody individually or collectively involved with it.
This was just in the news. So someone's put it out there.
The fact that Mike Tyndall could have been less popular in there than Matt Hancock, I mean, is just not. Just not an option, is it?
No.
Well, I mean, but also though,
there's a couple of people who might have.
But also, there's also the thing that maybe loads of people stopped watching it because of him, and therefore a section of the population were watching it and actually do like those kind of people. So they voted for, and all just went, "Hang on, everyone in there is a certain type of person. We don't like those people." Very much like when people voted for Tony Adams. You got the Arsenal vote, didn't you? He got his particular section of people's votes, and maybe that's what kept them in.
I think it's probably all mixed together because it was a bit.
Isn't there a TikTok thing where you vote via TikTok?
I don't know.
Something like that, and that stuff can be easily
I
manipulated.
downloaded the app to make sure that Jill Scott got my votes. So I don't mind.
Well, there's an Everton connection with the winner,
and she won it, and to be fair, she was a worthy winner. Overall.
I think so. I think she came over well from start to finish.
Yeah.
Andy Bush is also in. He's just popped up in the in the group, and he's just seen the picture of the Illuminous poo, and he doesn't know what's going on. I'll be honest. He said he's deeply concerned.
Well, do you know what? This is a memo to him, and we could do this
full circle, isn't it?
Off the air, it's full circle. This is like really wrapping it up really nicely now, just bang on time. Is that this would be an opportunity for him to take a long, hard look at himself, and actually the fact that he doesn't understand what we're talking about would perhaps imply that maybe he should attend more often.
Yeah, I would like to think, or I think, if we could track down that suit, we should make him wear it for a podcast.
That would be interesting.
That would be. I don't know how he'd get his headphones on, but that's a challenge for him.
Yeah, that is up to him.
Yeah,
he's got to go in search of that to wear for a podcast as a punishment.
I was gonna potentially combo it with the. I don't know whether combo it is even an expression, but combo it with the air fryer. But
I was thinking
that could be a fire hazard, couldn't it?
It could be
a
fire hazard.
I think that looks very flammable. That suit.
Yeah. Considering he literally ripped off the idea and put it to his radio show as well, and does it. He does Toasty Tuesdays.
Yeah. In the air fryer.
He does a Toasty Tuesday on. No, he doesn't do it on air fryer. He does it on a toasty. Yeah. So he's got this new segment that he came up with called a Toasty Tuesday, where him and whoever his mate is on the show with Richie they cook a toasty on a Tuesday.
Mad.
Well, what? Where did that idea come from, Mr. Bush?
Right, listen, next week right? And this will serve by way of a trail for the next episode 14 possibly.
Yeah,
maybe?
possibly, yeah.
I think that next week we have to start this podcast with what will effectively be a kangaroo court, and we need to sit him down and we need to just attack him from all angles, all the different things that we're not happy with in terms of his behavior and his general attitude towards this podcast. I think we need to get it all out in the open. This is going to be an Attack Bush podcast special.
Clear
Dave,
the decks.
There's just one issue to that. I'm not here next week.
Yeah, but first of all,
you can attack the bush all
we've
you
known
want.
about it.
You can
Hang on,
attack
where are you next week?
New York.
Well, why can't you do it from New York?
Because
They've got
I'm
internet
fucking
in
in New York, that's why.
They've got internet in New York.
They haven't. Not where I'm going.
Dave,
You know-
it would be
Yeah.
just before 8 a.m.
Yeah.
in New York. There is no chance.
And listen, here's what I'm proposing is that I don't mind delaying the start of this podcast to later on in the afternoon, minus 5 hours. We could do it at midday in New York time. We could do it at 5 o'clock
Listen,
in British winter time.
If you want to delay it for 5 hours, be my guest. I'm not going to be fucking there, though.
Well, what you could do, though, okay, so what you could do, because
Yeah.
me and Dave do want to do this kangaroo court with the bush,
Just do it.
is, no, I would like...
No. I think you need to be there. I mean,
but
because
Dave, imagine if Ped recorded a piece of video, right, where it's unbroken, where he just gives Bush down the banks for not being there, and we just play that
can't
into
do
it.
that, though, if I'm not there, though. Can I?
You could say the things you're disappointed with.
But I wouldn't be there, so I would be a hypocrite.
Yeah, but you'll be the only one you've missed, apart from the first episode.
I think what we need to do here is effectively install like a suspended sentence.
Okay, so 2 weeks today.
A bush filter.
2 weeks today.
A bush filter, so he can perhaps know that he's in trouble.
No, it's coming.
Pending sentencing, and then we'll completely hit him with both barrels.
He's got to go to a safe house for a week.
Got the safe house for a week. He'll know it's coming, and then he won't see it.
No.
Well, he will see it.
Well, he will see it.
We'll tell him that on whatever date it is, a fortnight from today.
Yeah. It's like a bit of an intervention, isn't it?
It is. I'd like to think, rather than the kangaroo court, Dave, because he's part of this, I think an intervention comes first, where we tell him how disappointed we are with his
Do you think we should be really off with him, Baz, next week? Do you think we should be like noticeably like have the arse with him, just
like,
so that he knows that something, you know, a bit like when you like upset your missus or something, and you just
can
get the
just
whole
feel
shoulder
it.
treatment. Yeah. Should we do that?
Say he gets really upset though, and then doesn't come on the next one, because we don't want him go hiding, do we?
Okay, well, maybe we'll be really arsey with him for the first part, and then
early
we'll
on,
kind of brighten it up at the end, and maybe talk about a potential Christmas drink or something when Ped is back, and lull him into a false sense. Do you know what? In 2 weeks' time, that'd be about the right sort of time that we can say it's the 1878 FM Christmas drinks, right? And he will think it's a happy occasion, and we will lure him in under false pretenses, and then hammer him.
I mean, that to me sounds tremendous.
It does, yeah.
It'd be great if we could get you in the studio
also,
before Christmas. That would be lovely, but obviously...
And because it would be timed just before Everton come back, that fume would be real.
Yeah.
That fume would be real.
The aggression would be there, wouldn't it? Because we know it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we'll do. So next week, next week will be a little bit up. Some of his jokes we won't laugh at. We'll just have a little edge. We'll go on him a little bit with a bit of needle.
Yeah, and then we'll pick it up at the end, and we'll pretend to be interested in his life and stuff, and sort of ask him how his week's been, and who did you interview, and blah blah blah. We'll do all that just so that he thinks we're okay with
everything's
it.
normal.
He'll have no idea what's coming.
And the week after,
boom,
he will get
Bush on fire.
Fully off the week after, fully. Right, let's leave it. That's a plan. That's a plan. So don't tell him. Don't tell him anybody who's watching.
If anyone's listening,
don't tell him.
Don't go messaging him on Twitter or anything like that.
Don't go, look, this person looks like you, Andy Bush, and also they are enacting the court from 1874 to get the Bush on trial.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't do that.
On trial. Don't do that. Stay away from all that. Right, we are done. Thank you very much for listening. It's been a little bit more depressing than I thought it was going to be, but there you go.
And me.
Real talk today on this podcast. But as always, a huge thank you to Big Dave, who is like we said, the Tarkovsky's here every week. Bush is doing something, whatever he's doing. Ped is disappearing. So it's just me and you, Dave. We are very much the Connor Cody, James Tarkovsky of this podcast.
So.
Reliable.
Yeah,
reliable.
that's what makes us special, Barry.
That's it. That's it.
More like the Tony Ibbott and the Leon Osman.
I don't know. I think that's harsh. Listen, you're Rondon.
I'd happily be Rondon.
Yeah.
No issues with Rondon.
No issue.
Proper centre forward. Not like none of these fake number 9 nonsense. I know I'd
Let's
rather
get
have
out of it here.
I know I'd rather have on the front line.
Let's leave it there. See you all next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.